As I walk through the valley of the shadow of doubt, I take a look at my life and realise I should never have started shooting a show called Is It?
I don't know why that made me laugh.
No, well, I suddenly thought, I started it and suddenly thought, I should have done a hymn. I should have done All Things Bright and Beautiful. Now I've ruined that for a future episode. But Coolio, of course. I never realised, but when he's out on tour, he'd look for local hip-hop artists and get in touch and go and record some bars with them.
No way. That's very cool.
So my friend in Dublin sat in his studio one day and they had a band. Oh, that's annoying, isn't it? Versatile. They're an Irish sort of rap hip-hop trio. Or were. And he sat in the studio one day and the phone rings. He said, yo, what up? Coolio.
Sounds just like him.
Yeah.
It's uncanny.
Yeah. Coolio from Northampton. And so he came in and spat some bars, and then I think Evan Kennedy, who was the sort of the producer, wrote a track for Coolio, but I think he died, didn't he?
He died, a little while ago,
Yeah. So, but I thought that was pretty cool, Leo.
Pretty cool, yeah.
That you get in touch with sort of local up and coming producers and go
cool.
and work with them. I've actually got a recording on my phone of a voicemail that he left him, and it's it's very, very G-funk.
He had a very cool voice. I liked his style of rapping. It was very good. And that track, Gangsta's Paradise. I mean, I love the original Stevie Wonder tune, which helps. But yeah, that was banging. And also, his name has become slang that I use still now. I mean, everybody I know does.
What, Coolio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just comes up. No one ever says it. It's like it's always saying, you're typing a text or something. It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't use it because I think it's a bit cheesy, but I'm sure you do.
You use worse. Anyway, let's move on to some news, Dan. News. SSL have just released their 360 link bus comp.
Exciting stuff.
And basically it lets you use the UC1 controller, the bus compression bit, which was never able to be utilised in their 360 link software. It enables you now to map pretty much any compressor to it.
Any SSL compressor?
No, any compressor.
Okay.
Yeah. You can
hence the link.
Hence the link, yeah. Which is really useful because that's, it sits there doing nothing. And quite often if you map a channel strip, it's nice to have the compressor.
A bit like me, I sit here doing nothing.
Yeah, a lot of the time. Yeah. But that's a very cool thing. So yeah, that's out now. You can get that from the SSL website, or if you've got their software installer thing, it'll just show up. Yeah, it is very useful. Another plugin we're going to talk about, this is a bit strange because someone asked me to have a look at the Heritage Audio Successor, which is a very cool piece of hardware. It's a diode bridge compressor, which Heritage Audio make in, the style of a Neve compressor. They've started making it as a plugin, which I'm in the middle of demoing. We'll come to that soon. But while I was on the Heritage Audio website, I saw that they have a plugin called Britstrip. And I'm like, hello?
That rings a bell, Britstrip.
Well, yeah, I think there was Analog Obsession did a thing called the Britstrip. Yeah. So I thought, well, that looks really quite cool. I'll download that. So I've downloaded the demo and I've been demoing it, playing with it, and I thought I might have to get it. I don't know how much it is, and I go to the website and I'm like, it won't let me buy it. There's nowhere to click buy. And I did a bit of digging around. I had to go and look at their Instagram page to find out that you can't buy it. It's something that they've made, and they've made the demo available. And I presume at some point, once it'll be released. But the demo is available now for free on their website. It's a 14-day demo, and it's basically a big slab of loveliness in that it's it's a 1073 style EQ and preamp, but it's also got a diode bridge compressor in there as well, which, I mean, look at it. It looks very cool.
Very cool.
The other cool thing about it is that you can flip, if you click on, switch view, then it flips to looking like that. So it looks like the rack then.
Yeah.
But obviously someone was smart enough to go, do you know what, how many times have we said this when we see a plugin that looks like that?
Yeah.
If only they'd stacked it so that it makes more sense on the screen.
Yeah.
So that's the default look, that one, which Much better.
Much better, yeah.
Much better.
Yeah.
Couple of things I'll say about it. The dual concentric knobs on some plugins, people get it right. This looks exactly like the hardware, so I understand that's why they've done it like that. But it's quite hard to operate the outer one.
Well, maybe that's an update you'll see.
Yeah. I don't know what the solution is, but I know some companies manage to make it work better. There's another problem with it, is that when you turn the EQ button on, the light... so when the light's on for EQ on, the EQ is off.
Yeah.
And the same with the compressor. When you turn the compressor on, select dynamics in, the light comes on, but the compressor goes off.
Right.
It's just the wrong way around. Anyway, I've messaged them and said, just so you know, your buttons are the wrong way around.
Yeah, look at that. It's that bloody Sean Vincent again.
Yeah, annoying.
Yeah.
But other than that, it sounds really nice.
Does it?
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to reviewing that then.
Yeah, I think that's one hopefully we'll be looking at some point soon. When
Very
it's
good.
When it's officially out there. Which brings us to some comments, because we did a blind test in the last special episode for saturation, and it was just a bit of an interesting one. I thought, let's see if people can really tell the difference between these different flavours of saturation we have these days. So I put together a drum bus that was going through some different saturators, level matched them, and what I tried to do, I tried to get some subtle saturation that just sounded like you were going hot to tape. Now, not all of these are tape style saturation. Some of them are totally not that, but I was trying to get that kind of sound. And we've got a bunch of things. There was a Loop Trotter Saturate 2 plugin. There was the PSP saturator. There was the Tubitizer from Kive. There was the Logic Chroma Glow, the free saturator that comes with Logic. And there was also the TX 6100, which is a tape emulator, but I just drove into it to get the saturation.
Very cool.
You can go to the previous special episode and you can hear that blind test. But how did people get on, Dan?
Well, the blind test, according to Elvis Juarez, is very humbling, and it's a very humbling and telling thing.
It is.
These are cool. So regarding the tape type saturators blind test, I like 2 and 3 the most.
Okay, 2 was the PSP saturator and 3 was the Tubitizer,
with 4 coming in as a strong contender.
That was the Logic.
I love the shootouts, but they wish we'd post the results sooner.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
So do we.
Yes. Yeah, we'll try it. We'll do our best. So, my top 5. No, for the saturator blind test. No idea which is which, but I personally like 4 the most.
That was the Logic.
Slightly more crunchy. This is listening outside in my garden. Outside Croydon, using Sony WF-1000 MX5s, having a hard time drowning out the police helicopter overhead. That's from Razornaut.
How you doing, man?
Very cool, very cool. Try the Pulsar 1178, that has saturation too. They love it. Mr. Growbot said 5 sounds for me like tape saturation.
You've nailed it. That was the TIAC.
Very, very good. Spirella says all the saturators sound usable, but in different ways. 5 is the best tape.
Nailed it again.
1 is valve-like.
No, but yeah, fair enough.
No, but yeah, but...
Where's the Loop Trotter?
2 is 1073-ish.
Yeah, I can understand that. That was the PSP.
3 is API-ish.
Tubitizer.
Stephen Bollinger said saturation is a tricky thing, no idea which is which, but number 2 had the nicest boost, even though only slightly, in the lower end.
PSP.
Number 3, a tiny little extra shimmer on the hi-hats, or maybe my old ears are playing tricks on me. No. Also a possibility. I feel your pain, brother.
Tubitizer.
Tascam number 3.
No, Tubitizer.
Loop Trotter number 4.
Nope, Logic.
That was Azoti Post. It's hard to read a lot of these usernames. Simpler usernames, please. 2 and 4 for me.
Okay, 2 was a PSP, 4 was a Logic.
I'll take my guess a step further and say that 2 is the tube type of saturation. 4, not sure, could be anything.
Okay, well the PSP was set to tape. And 4 was the Logic Chroma Glow, which I just messed with it.
Thomas Lambert, thank you for a usable username there. Saturator Shootout. 5 and 2 are my faves.
Okay, well 5 was the TIAC tape and 2 was the PSP.
For the low end third. And then 4, 3 and finally 1.
1 was the Loop Trotter. Yeah, Loop Trotter's not doing well on this one.
No. My gut tells me number 6 is... Joke.
It's like, have I really fucked up now?
Yeah. My gut tells me that number 2 is the TIAC.
No, PSP.
But number 5 would be my second choice in terms of tape saturation.
You were close there.
Mark Saxon, that was from. No clue what's what, but 4 sounds the best.
Logic.
Followed by 5.
TIAC.
I hate the loop trotter. The high end of 4 sounded like a magic section of that.
Logic.
For saturation 3, this is Le Caleb. For saturation 3 comes first, then 5.
Tubitizer, then TIAC.
Okay, how are we getting on? Is that
I
enough?
think that's enough, yeah.
Yeah,
That's interesting. So, a lot of people like the Logic stock plug-in, but a lot of people did hear the tape saturator.
Yeah, people did hear the tape.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The Logic stuff is pretty good.
It's amazing. If you can't do a commercial mix with Logic stock plugins, you're not a sound engineer.
No, agreed.
They're good enough.
Agreed.
They are good enough.
It was interesting. We were looking at the compressor with all the different sorts of compressors in it.
Oh, the Yuhi one.
Yeah. And it made me think of the Logic. Although I guess they're actually different styles of compressor, aren't they? In the stock Logic. But
but similar.
Yeah, similar idea.
Similar idea.
So I understand we have another blind test.
Oh, they're so much fun.
They are. They certainly get a response.
They do get a response. So I thought, what would be an interesting, because the EQ one's very difficult to do.
Yeah, very. Yeah.
Because it's like,
I wonder if you could do that without the track. I don't know. Anyway, you're in charge.
We'll come up with a plan for that. But I thought what would be a really interesting one is to pitch different limiters against each other. So this time we have got the Logic adaptive limiter. Comes with Logic for free. The Brainworks True Peak limiter. The PSP Xenon. The FabFilter Pro L2. And the Cornef L1. Wow. Now, all I've tried to do is get 6 dB of boost, basically. I'm trying to increase the level of the track. Now I've put the whole track through it this time, and I've basically told each one I want 6 dB more. That's all I've done. There's no other control. Some of them have some tone controls and stuff, left them alone. It's just limiting, and I've set all of them that have the option to do a look ahead, very short look ahead. But yeah, I'm just trying to get 6 dBs of boost out of them. That's it. And so they're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. You've got the Logic Adaptive Limiter, the Brainworks True Peak, the PSP Xenon, the FabFilter Pro L2, or the Cornef L1. Here it comes. So there you go. That was the limiter blind test. Let us know in the comments which one you thought was which, or which one you just thought sounded better. Now, I use all of those to a certain extent on different things, but 2 of them I use pretty much all the time. But we'll talk about that next time when we reveal what's what.
Hopefully a little sooner.
Hopefully a little sooner.
Whatever his name was happy. That,
someone wasn't happy with our tardiness there.
No.
Which brings us, Dan, to the top 5. So the plugin top 5 has been really popular. People like it, and bless you, people have been going, using the affiliate links and buying the plugins, which is excellent. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. But times are changing.
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam.
One of them has to go, which means we have a new plugin in the top 5.
Excellent stuff.
So, without further ado, the top 5 in no particular order. just the order I wrote them down in. There isn't like a number one. They're just 5 plugins that we use all the time, actually in our day-to-day work. There's plenty of plugins we like, but not all of them we buy and use. So the top 5 now consists of the PSP AudioWare Saturator, still my favourite saturation. The Kive Filk Channel Mark II, still using it all the time, still love it. The Pulsar 8200, it's the GML EQ with more stuff, use it on everything. The Noise Ash 31102, it's Neve, it's got that Neve sound, it's got beautiful EQ points, a few extra things, I love it all the time. Now, unfortunately, the Pulsar W495 has dropped off only because along came Kive with the M5133 mastering EQ. Now, they're very different beasts. But I'm using it the same way. So the W495, it was on my master, and basically I would set a curve which I would mix into. And I used to like the sound of it. I still like the sound of it, and I'm still going to use it. But this has become part of my template now. And I'm doing pretty much the same thing. I'm doing a little cut and a boost here and there, but I'm using the saturation on it a tiny bit just to push into. And yeah, it's a wonderful sounding thing. So yeah, the Kive M5133, there is now going to be a link for that down below. Go and get it. That would really help us out. And go and demo it and listen to it. It's a fantastic sounding EQ.
Excellent stuff.
So there you go. That was the top 5, which brings us to our topic of discussion with no preparation.
Yes, because people love an opinion, don't they? Well, you know what they say about opinions?
They're like arseholes.
Yeah, everybody's got one and they all stink.
Everyone else's stinks. You always like your own. Apparently. So I've heard.
I'm glad I brought that up. Right, yeah. Come on then. What's the topic of discussion with... This is topic of discussion with no former preparation.
Yes. Today, Dan.
Yeah.
Plugins. Where do they go next? Where have they been going? So we've been doing this, 2.5 years?
Yeah.
This show.
Yeah.
And in that time, when we started it, analog modelling and all that was really going. People were like just throwing things out constantly that were modelled pieces of hardware.
Yeah.
And then running alongside that, we've had companies doing sort of the opposite. Original designs with completely different interfaces that are maybe easier on the eye.
Yeah.
But not as familiar to older engineers like us.
Well, I mean, I make you laugh almost every time with, what are we looking at today? Is it a channel strip, a compressor, or an equalizer?
Yeah.
Because that seems to be the sort of mainstay of plugins, doesn't it?
It's not only that, it's that we've found that our audience love a review of a compressor, an EQ, or a preamp.
Yeah.
If we review something off-piste, not so much.
No.
People like these everyday tools we use in mixing and mastering. They like to hear about them. They want to know if there's something better.
And you then also have the more surgical, what you call the more surgical equalizers.
Yeah.
The limiters and what have you.
Yeah, I think, look, if you're doing production, there's a bunch of tools you need to create what you're doing. You need some good compressors, some good EQs, but ultimately you want something fast. You've probably got someone sitting next to you, you're working with them, you just want to get results quickly. And then maybe later you will come to the mix and replace a few of them with more suited things.
Yeah.
So I think that set of tools is a different set of tools where if you're just a mix engineer, where when I get a mix, probably someone's already, before they've given me the stems, run it through a bunch of stuff. I don't know that they've done that.
No.
But I'm trying to add flavour and get the best out of everything. So I'm quite often preferring to use analog model style plugins.
You certainly get a lot more of the saturatory THD, total harmonic distortion. Call it what they will. Different companies seem to have different sort of names for it. That seems to have become a very prominent feature in the modelled stuff or the...
Ultimately, I think there's two things, isn't there? There's the GUI of it. You've either got something that looks like an old piece of equipment or something that doesn't. It utilises modern graphics. And then on the sound side, you've got something that is completely clean or you've got something that adds colour, total harmonic distortion. And I sort of need some of each. A
bit of each, yeah.
Depending on what I'm doing. I
mean, the big elephant in the room is AI, of course. It's going to be play a bass that you want it to sound like into it, and a bass that your bass through it, and it models it. And of course, I was I was doing a bit of programming and simultaneous chat GPTing, looking at what would be required in the back end of mixing of AI mixing a record. So if you'd recorded a track and you come together into the AI and you say
make it sound like that.
You say, right, yeah, mix my track to sound like.
Well, it's like the Spike Stent thing that everyone's talking about at the moment. Spike Stent, very famous mix engineer, English, based out in the States. I interviewed him years ago. Interesting guy, incredible CV. He's an incredible engineer. He's developed some piece of AI magic, which is basically, I haven't seen it, but apparently you can send in your stems and it'll mix.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how that works or how successful that is or whether you get what you want.
Well, it's deep learning, isn't it? It's it's teaching teaching an algorithm.
Yeah.
But it's just there are so many variables.
There's loads of variables, and you know, there's realistically, you know, it's like you said earlier, you know, there's 10,000 EQ plugins out there already. Do you need another one? No, you probably don't need another one, but you always need inspiration.
Yeah.
And it's like when I was doing more writing and producing, in the old days, a new synth or a new sampler or a new drum machine the sounds in it, which were new, would inspire me to do something new. And I feel the same with a new EQ or a new compressor. I get excited about it. I want to use it. You know, and then you go through sort of stages. So like my mix template at the moment has been the same probably for maybe 3 or 4 months. But if I went back a year, it would be quite different.
Yeah.
If we go forward 6 months, it'll probably be quite different.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. You know, I think, you know, we've talked as well about picking some flavours. It's a bit like cooking, isn't it? You pick your spices for an album. Right, I'm going to use this style of compression on the vocal, this style on the drums, this EQs, this is what I'm doing this album with, and it's going to give it a sound.
Yeah.
And it might be nothing to do with what the band or the artist want, but it gives you something to aim for, a palette which you're working within.
So what about then, to answer our question, what do you think the future, so in 12 months, what our plugin is going to look like?
I don't think much is going to change.
No.
I think the AI thing hopefully will just work alongside and will make things maybe it will make presets work better, or maybe it'll be really good, let's say, if a compressor or an EQ or a channel strip plugin could learn from you using it over a period of time. You know, we've in the background it could go, do you know what, I've worked out that you like to do this with this kind of vocal and you like to do this with this kind of drum, and it just kind of starts to help you. That would be interesting, but would it be annoying? And would it get it right?
No. Well, this is it. It's inevitable, I'm sure.
But I think, you know, the tone booster stuff we discovered recently, love that.
That's a step forward, isn't it?
I think it is, and it's the first time that those style of interfaces I like. I generally like stuff to look like gear that I learnt on. Yeah. But those, there isn't anything like that, and that, for whatever reason, floats my boat now when it didn't used to.
Yes.
So it's tricky, but realistically, I don't think much is going to change in the very, very near future.
We'd love to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, and what should it do is a really good question. What do you want? What plugins aren't out there that you wish were? I mean, I love a channel strip. I love to have my EQ and my compression and maybe some saturation in one plugin, so that I don't have to insert loads of plugins. But it would be really nice if there were more that allowed me to switch out the sections. So like, right, I'm going to use a 1073 style EQ, but I want an SSL channel style compressor in it. Or, I mean, I know there is stuff out there that can do this, but it would be great if it was like infinitely switchable out. That would be really nice. Who knows? Maybe that
very
exact
cool
thing is coming.
Well, we'll find out as we do a plug-in review show, I'm sure.
That's true. Someone will tell us. Yeah.
Well,
there you go. I think that's the end of another special episode.
Indeed.
But let us know in the comments. Tell us what limiter you thought was which, or which one you thought was best. Tell us what you think about the future of plugins, and maybe tell us what you want us to talk about next time. It's always good to have some topics to spark us off.
Some feedback.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know whether we're really, really boring.
Yep.
Or whether it's quite interesting.
Well, maybe don't do that.
Maybe don't do that.
Anyway, do like the video.
That would be really helpful. Maybe subscribe to the channel or become a channel member.
Check out our Instagram, Studio Life 101, and check out the links below for our new top 5 that we revealed today. Some mixing courses, an upcoming mastering course, and a few other bits and pieces.
Yeah, it's all down there.
Until next time, sayonara, suckers.
Adios.